We're going to learn TypeScript by going through the documentation from the official website of TypeScript. It's typescriptlang.org. All right. So I don't have TypeScript installed. I'm going to install it first. So how can I download it? So it's saying try TypeScript now via online or via npm. If I click on that, we have two options in browser. That is the playground where you can write here and test, but that is not so useful. This is good for learning, but I want to install it locally, okay, so that I can use VS Code. All right, so go to on my computer via npm. We have to install TypeScript using npm install TypeScript, or we can use global install, that is with G flag. Npm install -g TypeScript. -g is for global install, so that I can use the TypeScript compiler from anywhere. Let's install this. While it is installing, let's check the documentation. Oh, it is installed already. Yeah, so tsc is the command for compilation. If I check tsc, this is the TypeScript compiler. It has some options. All right, so like any other compiler should compile in a TypeScript file. Let's create one TypeScript file at first. I'm going to open code in this folder. Okay, create new file. Test.TypeScript extension is ts. Test.ts. I'm going to write some code. Okay, alright, first I'm just going to write console log. TypeScript is just JavaScript, so I can write any valid JavaScript here. Console log test, right? So I have one file, test.ts. Now I'm going to compile it. tsc test.ts. After compilation, it should create one JavaScript file. I check that. This is same because it is just console log. Okay, but I don't want to run tsc every time. Let's start the documentation. So it has a lot of options for documentation. How to get started. TS for new programmer, TS for JavaScript programmer, Java programmer. I'm a JavaScript programmer, so I'm going to choose this option. TypeScript for JS programmers. All right. I want to set up a project. How can I set up a project? I think there's a documentation for migration. I want to migrate one JS project to, migrating for JavaScript. Normally I should have a full project. I want to convert that. Looks like I have to create a file called tsconfig.json. This file should have this structure. It should include all the source, and in output directory it is going to create output.js files. Alright, let's create that. I have to create one tsconfig.json file. tsconfig or tsconfig. This is the sample content. Output directory, source. Alright, I should have a source folder. I'm moving my test file. Move. Then let's run that. It has created one build folder and test.js. There should be one watch option. I have sent somewhere. Running help, there should be a watch option. This is the watch. Okay, so if I run tsc with watch option, it should start watching the file changes. Now if I change any file, alright, here in test.ts, if I change this file, it should compile. It's doing it. So if I open test.js, the change is there. Alright, my setup is done. So let's learn TypeScript now from the documentation. Okay, I'm going to move to TypeScript for JS programmers. That means you don't have to provide any type information. It should automatically infer the type. Let's try that. Let hello equals to world. Now the TypeScript compiler should know that hello is a string type. Okay, if I hover over this, it is showing that hello is a string. Now if I try to assign some other type like number, it should show an error. Okay, in my TypeScript compiler also it is showing that type number is not assignable to type string, so it is working. So TypeScript is smart enough to understand what you are trying to do. That means you have assigned string to hello. That means hello is a string. It knows that. Cool. Go to next example, defining types. Alright. So in the first example, because it is very simple code, TypeScript can easily tell that this hello world is a string. But if your type is a little complex, like an object, it may not know the structure of the object. That's why you need to specify. Okay. Alright, let's try this. I have an user that has a name and ID. Name is string and ID is number. And it is saying if you can explicitly define the object's shape using the interface declaration. If I use interface in this way, I can specify the type of an object. So you can specify the type of a variable or a constant like this. So here, after user using colon interface, I can specify user or the shape of user. Okay, now if I try to add something else like age, should show an error. The error is object literal may only specify known properties. Age does not exist in type user. That is correct because in this interface we don't have age. Going to next example. What is this? This is also similar, but in this case we are creating a class user account and we are defining the shape of the class using the interface. I don't want to try this. This is quite trivial. Composing types. Okay. Oh, there is a type keyword here. We can provide a type, and in this case the type mybool can be true or false. Or if I create a type with Windows state, open, close and minimized, this is like an enum. Windows state type can have only 3 values. Okay. Going to next example, I'm creating a function. In that function parameter, I'm providing the type. Alright, let's write that. I'm going to remove this now. Oh no, keep it. I'm going to use this interface user. Suppose I want to write a function get username. Alright, in this function I have to first user u. Now in JavaScript you can just return u.name, but actually you don't know the type of the user, type of u. Okay, but in TypeScript you can provide the type. You can specify that u is of type user, and the advantage is If you type u dot, you can get id or name. And if you try to access any other thing like age, which is not there, you'll get an error. And that error is very, very useful. This is why we're writing TypeScript. Okay. And also you can provide the return type. Suppose I'm adding the return type here as string. Then you can only return a string. If you try to return id, which is number, you're going to get error. And it is very, very useful. Okay, it is going to be useful when you are actually using the function. Okay, suppose you're using the function like this, then you know that it is returning string, then you can easily use all the string operations. If you try to write any number operation, like what is a number operation? Let's write a number dot user dot id is a number dot, okay, to exponential. Okay, if I want to use that, immediately it is showing error. See, this is the error because it knows, the TypeScript compiler knows that the return value of my get username is a string. See, this is why we use TypeScript. Writing code will be so much easier when you have a huge code base. Alright, going to the next part, generics. Wow. If you're coming from Java background, you probably know generics. So what is generic? Generics is when your type is a variable. Let me give you an example. This is the example. There is a backpack. Okay, there is a backpack interface. And backpack has a generic type. That means this type is variable. When you are defining the interface, we don't know the type. So in backpack we have two methods, add and get. Get returns type, and add, in add we pass type. Now when we are going to use this backpack, let's see how we can use backpack. We're declaring a constant backpack of type backpack string. Now see, we're using backpack with string type. In that case, this constant backpack, this one, this is going to have two methods, add and get, and add will receive a string type, and if you call get, it is going to return a string. Okay, let's write that. I have an interface backpack. Now creating a constant b, that is a backpack, b of type backpack of string. This is a constant, so I have to, here they're using declare. I'm not going to use declare. I'm going to create it. Okay, let's create a class backpack of type backpack. Is it possible? Oh, it has implements. Cool. So I've created one interface. This is like Java, man. This is completely like Java. Okay, so I've created a backpack. This is the implementation. Let's call it backpack impl. This is the implementation of backpack that implements backpack of string type. That means I should have two methods, add and get. Let's write that. Add See, add some object of string. I'll call it a string. Get should return a string, so return something. I have an interface backpack of type. This is a generic type, and I have implemented that in two ways. One is with string. So in add and get, I'll get string as type, and now I'm going to implement a backpack that can have only integer. Okay, class backpack integer int implements backpack of number. Let's call it backpack number, right? What is the error? I should have two methods, add and get. Quick fix. I should have two methods, add number and get number. So this is how this generic works. Next one, structural type system. Structural type system means TypeScript only focuses on the shape of the object, shape of the value. Okay, so that means if I have two objects of same shape, then they can be considered as same type. Okay, and that's it. This is definitely not advanced TypeScript. Alright, that's it for today. I will check if I can find any advanced TypeScript documentation here, and then I'll create another video for that. Thank you guys. If you liked it, please like and subscribe to JavaScript Talks for more videos like this.